We touched on Jackson Whistle earlier. He has a contract for this coming season. You're looking for an import to join him. Do you have a gut feeling on how all this is going to pan out?
I hope it pans out very well. I hope it pans out well for the club, first of all, because what's best for the club is of paramount importance. Um, I think we've seen with Belfast, we've seen Guildford try to do it as well, and we've seen Nottingham try to do it, where I think there's so many games now, it's hard for one goalie to play 70, 75 games. And I think you need to split the goaltending. So I also think that competition for places is a good thing. So I hope Jackson fights for that number one spot. And if an import goaltender comes in, if that's what Aaron decides, then the two of them can battle for a number one position. I think that's good for competition. I also think it's good for themselves. But most importantly, it's good for the hockey club. And if we're going to win, we have to have great goaltending. And I don't know if you can win. Or you're very lucky if you can win with one goalie playing 75 games. You know, Beskawani last year, he got injured a little bit, but then came through at the end. What happens if Bouncy goes down in Cardiff? It can cripple your season. So I think having two good goaltenders, if you like, that's going back to the Super League days. And when Super League finished and we went to Elite League, it went back then to the one starting goalie. But I think if you look at all the good leagues in Europe, yes, they have a number one, but they have a damn good number two as well. And I think if we can get an import goalie and Jackson, then wow, that's probably going to be the best 1-2 punch that will be in the Elite League.
Who are your top two goalies in the IHL last season?
I think Beskawani's head and shoulders last year was the best. The guy I actually always liked as well is the guy whose name escapes me right now, who's just gone to Belfast from Fife. And you've caught me and I've just forgot the name, but I thought they were the two best goaltenders last year.
The fact that Jackson...
So I think Belfast have done really well. They've lost Beskiawani, and I think they replaced him with the number two. So I think they've done pretty good.
The fact that Jackson's not in your top two, is that a bit disappointing in the sense that you'd liked him to have done better last year?
No, I think he did excellent last year. I think a lot of people blamed him unnecessarily. I think there was a lot of problems. If you wrote the list of problems down our hockey club had last year, I think you go on to page 2, page 3 before you got to Jackson Whistle. I think it's too easy sometimes to blame the goaltender. We knew him coming in, it was a part of a project. As a British goalie, giving yourself the option of having that additional import out on the ice. And he was a young lad who'd done well in Belfast, and he did very, very well for us. He had a few nights that were off, but you know what? You look at Bounds in Cardiff, he has a few nights that are off. I mean, it's only the top ones. I think Beskawani was the one who was just solid all the way through. So, I certainly hope that Jackson is back with us and he's fighting for that number one position because he's a very, very good goaltender. Did nothing wrong in his time.
Given what you said, how important it is to have two goalies competing for the number one slot, and how can you go on without that? Was it then a mistake last year that perhaps you didn't have that?
I think that's just the way the league's developing, the league's going. And we've seen Nottingham and Guildford especially trying to go down that 1-2 punch route. Now, in all fairness, neither Nottingham or Guildford have had success with that. But I think that's where our league is going, having that good 1-2 punch. I think when Tom came in, he tried for that. When he brought Climie in, unfortunately, Climie was just at the back end of his career, and it didn't work out that way. And Climie was a bit of a disappointment on the ice. Great bloke off the ice, worked his bag off the ice, but just didn't work for him. So I think the way forward for the big clubs, the clubs that are in the fortunate enough position to be able to afford it, I think the 1-2 punch is probably the way that Sheffield, that Nottingham, I expect Nottingham to go that way as well. And Guildford have got a reputation of doing that, so I expect Guildford to do that as well. We'll go this year.